Okay, I know what you're all thinking. It's, wow, chaos. In that last clip, it was too easy. Your jungler actually came with you. Nobody even contested it. So in this clip, things get a little messier, and you're still going to see how things end up. I'm still contesting. I don't have any backup. My Slims does start to rotate, but so do the enemies, right? We see the Trixie. We see that the enemy dragon laners have also started to rotate. We just get some poke damage on, and then we are going to get out of this, right? And here's another thing to keep in mind. We didn't really do much to harass the enemy jungler. We did kind of make him uncomfortable for a little bit, but he's not going to miss any camps or experience from it. So anyways, controlling the river, instead of taking the passive route, which Slim started to take, I run down the river. Why? Because I want to clear all the bushes so that my teammates know they can rotate easily. So here, same thing, we're just going to kind of chip away. And if you notice, our Kali is going to rotate down, and the control of the river is very important because notice, our Kali rotates simply directly down the river because it's clear, because I cleared it when I rotated here. Whereas the Trixie has to go the long way and go behind the dragon pit. So anyways, we're just going to keep brawling this out. So in this game, you can see the enemy had good defense. The enemy's brawling with us. My health's even lower at this point. We're just kind of getting into that chipping back and forth. In this case, I will say the one thing that's very important is I know the enemy jungler started on blue side, which means, and I'm actually going to pause, which means that right now the enemy jungler is most likely red side. Because if he would have stayed here, he would have just wasted, right, about 45 seconds of doing nothing, not farming at all. So he wouldn't do that. We would have seen the enemy jungler if he was the bottom side of the map. So right now the enemy jungler is for sure at the top side of the map. And that means that we have the advantage of having our jungler with us. So I decide to stop going back and try to get these kills if the enemy pushes out, which you can see the Yorn kind of gets out of position. So anyways, we're still hanging around. Flip, Quillin gets him, bam, first blood, and then Quillin is also going to clean up the Yorn. So we start the game out 2-0, and if you notice, the dragon is just about to spawn, 1 second, and the dragon spawns, right? So 2-0, dragon spawns. If you look at the health, our jungler is about half health, Slim's about 60% health. So we don't end up getting it in this case, but it's still the same thing. You control the river. You won't always get the dragon depending where your health is left, but this is honestly a game where the enemies handled my invasion and my pressure very well, but it still ended up very favorable for our team. The next step in our early game dominance as a support is taking dragon. So in the next clips, I'm going to show you a few different examples of how to take dragon. Some of them are going to be uncontested, some of them will be contested, but I'm just going to go through the thought process of when I know I can take a dragon. Okay, the main point of this clip is to show you what happens when you have control of the river. So here, I'm not going to show the beginning, we're diving right in. So the dragon is about to spawn in 13 seconds, and what I'm going to do is I'm controlling the river brush already. I have my jungler with me, and I'm going to go check if the enemy jungler is at his blue side. I check, I see him finishing the small camp, I am able to successfully steal it and chip him down. So I now know that the enemy jungler is low, right? He's about half health, my jungler is full, we see Violet pushing in, I want to start dragon, I notice then that Violet's pushing in, she's actually not backing, so I'm like, okay, she's killed with Quillin especially, so I just get the slow on her, I toss her back so she can't escape, and then I let Quillin clean that up. We end up clearing wave, and then we go for dragon. And that's basically what will happen in the case where you have river control, right? So once again, we were able to get vision on the enemy jungler, chip him down, then get a gank bottom lane, and then just take a free dragon. They don't contest it at all. In this clip, I know to begin that the enemy jungler is top. I actually saw him try to gank Zenial right before I started this clip. And if you notice, pay attention to my team's jungler, the Xanis. He's going to go bottom for a gank, and he actually is going to gank Teleanis, get the Grak, but he's also going to die. And dragon is spawning in that time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the river. I'm going to just instantly start dragon because I know that both bot laners are dead. My Wisp has almost full health, my mid laner has like 90% health, and the Kali's kind of going back and forth between lanes, so I'm simply going to change the direction of the dragon. Kali has to make a hard choice here. If you notice, she's losing a wave to tower, and my Maganga's there. She can't really contest. Maganga does the right thing. He's kind of frustrating her. She's trying to do that. I'm pinging nonstop, like, come on, Wisp, come help me, right? Once again, it's solo queue. I mean, this happens to you guys. Don't get frustrated. Wisp could have came and we could have killed the dragon by now. But anyway, Xanis thankfully is paying attention. He comes, we get the easy free dragon kill, and then we rotate on to the marksman and the support who have just got back to lane. Unfortunately, we overlapped ults there. I ulted there because I wanted to give time for Xanis and Maganga to get to the fight, so I still would have done that ult either way. I think having the third, fourth teammates there is more important than Wisp getting his full ult off anyways, but that honestly wasn't intentional. I just ulted to stop them from moving. So at this point, we've covered all the different basics in dominating the early game as a support, so the remainder of the video is going to be me showing you my game from the start of the game to taking the first dragon and all the different things that can happen. Once again, keep in mind that as a support in solo queue, all your games are going to look different. Enemies are going to react differently, your teammates are going to react differently, so you really need to learn how to function in chaos. But in solo queue, if you become good at creating chaos in the early game and you can leverage it into big gold leads, you are going to have very high win rates, because the game, the direction that AoV has gone is it has become much more snowball heavy, so being aggressive as a support and getting your team ahead early is a lot more impactful than it used to be. In this clip, I start out by taking the DS side brush, and you are going to see that the enemies have actually set up to defend the bush. So what do? I decide to just switch over. So what happens is we're going to kind of poke at Arthur, because I do have my mage with me at first. I see that. I see the jungler is starting red. Okay, at this point, I know where the Arthur is. I know where the jungler is starting. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to head over to blue and check what people are doing over there. We already see Violet. So at worst, I know that the support is here. So at worst, I'm going to face check the other support, but nobody is there, so awesome. I'm going to start doing blue buff. As soon as I do that, I start pinging, hey teammates, come help me. Tolan did not see me. I was in the bush. I pulled the dragon or the blue buff in the bush, so I know that. You can see my Xanis is checking the jungle right now, which is awesome because that lets me know that the enemy jungler has finished his clear, and I'm now watching them fight. I do have a decision, which is I could go help them, but if I'm looking at the health, the Tolan and the Elsu are ahead of my team, and my team is backing off, so I don't really want to go help. So I finish the buff, and fortunately, the Elsu face checks me, and I am able to just get the kill on him. So Elsu is going to lose to a Baldum just flat out. One reason I do like the heal over the flash, and I think, or flicker is totally viable. I just like the heal because it lets me bait people, and it tends to throw off their judgment of if they can win or lose a fight. So anyways, I get first blood, I get the blue buff, and their jungler is dead, and then Arthur gets a second kill, dragon up in 8 seconds. As we've been talking about, I go for it, I'm starting to ping it, right? My team has very strong control at this point in the game, okay? So I'm going to head over there. If you can see, bot lane is coming. My Val's kind of responding to me. I see the crest come in, so I'm like, okay, let's just go for him because he did kind of overextend. Right? If I saw the Violet mid this whole time, so I know that she's not in this area. So if Kresh goes to the middle of the river, that is an overextension. Thankfully, our jungler catches onto the dragon that I was pinging from before, and he just starts out immediately. At this point, we know we have numbers because we killed the Kresh, so the only thing they can do is do that. The Violet's going to roll in to try to get the kill and end up costing herself her life. If she would have stole the dragon, it would have been worth it. Thankfully, our jungler was good enough and did get his punish off correctly, and then Tolan gets stuck between us, and we just simply trap him in. So now we have started the game with a 6-0 lead and the first dragon, and now we are stealing Elsu's second blue buff, because if you notice, he is top right now. Unfortunately, I do mess up that ultimate, and I don't grab Arthur, which ends up costing my Xanis his life, and that was definitely my bad. But this is still going to end up good for us because we end up getting a few more kills. So there's 7 kills, and we are able to get out. And I believe we end up with 8 kills in this scenario. And let's see. Yep, I am backing off. And there we go. We got the 8th kill. So anyways, that is it for this clip. But if you notice, I just want to go through. They were actually defending the first buff. So I switched sides, stole the other buff. Ambushed the enemy jungler when he came to take his buff, got the kill, immediately went for dragon, got a gank bottom lane because I saw that the marksman had rotated mid, and then our jungle started the dragon. We immediately got the dragon. After the dragon, we went to go check on their blue buff again and started taking that, and that is what led to this huge lead.